Hey guys, so in this video, I want to share with you effective questions that life coaches and therapists ask their clients in order to help them to be able to build new habits and break old ones. So the first question I want to share with you is, what makes the unknown scary? So a lot of people do not want to explore their feelings because they don't want to feel that they are vulnerable. And they think that if they explore their feelings, somehow that's going to make their fear larger than what it is. But actually, the opposite is true if you do this within reasonable bounds. So when you explore that feeling of fear and give voice to it, it makes that fear less vague and ominous because you're putting it into words and you're coming to an understanding about it. Then you can move on to this next question. What makes the unknown worthwhile? So after you're able to explore the feelings of fear and be able to put it into context a bit, then you're able to more clearly answer this question and see what kind of opportunities does building this new habit allow you to do, or breaking this old habit allow you to do? How will this allow you to grow? What would it offer your life? When you can allow yourself to cease resisting your fear, to be able to process it, it becomes less sticky. And as a result, you have room to be able to see what makes pursuing the known worthwhile. Then you could ask yourself this question, and I love this question a lot, which is, what is the downside of being an expert? Because a lot of people get held back because they're comparing themselves to the best people in the field. One downside of being an expert is that an expert can be very set in their ways because they have developed a certain kind of way of thinking in their field and they have become rigid about it. A person who is new to the field could be able to see things with fresh eyes. Another thing is that an expert could actually become bored of their area of study after a long time. And they kind of missed that beginning phase where they were just exploring and they were completely excited and everything was fresh and new. The next question I would like to ask is, have you tried something new before and thought it would be unpleasant, but realized it was not as bad as you expected? I love to ask myself this question because sometimes I don't want to get started on something new. It kind of makes me feel like it's going to be tedious or arduous. But then I think back to some time in which I was kind of dismissive of getting started on something new. But then when I got started, I realized, hey, it's not that bad as I thought it would be. Especially once you get started and kind of get over that initial hump, you realize, hey, this is not really that stressful. And in fact, I am motivated and focused. And I'm sure that you felt that way before. For instance, when it comes to cleaning the room, at first, you may think, oh, I don't want to do this, but then, get started and then you get into a flow and it's not that bad. It's good to try to remember that. So I want to ask you these questions. What is something new you would like to try in your life? What would it bring to your life? And when you're able to do this thing, how would you feel? So these are good set of questions to ask because I'm going to ask another set of questions that'll help you to be able to be motivated to get started on something new. So for me, something new that I've recently built into my life is cooking. And what would it bring to me is a sense that I could be able to serve others and also be able to serve myself. And I would like to be able to feel that I am creative, that I am growing, that I am having fun cooking. Now, the reason why I ask these questions is that people often become demotivated because they only think about the long-term benefit. Like, once I am able to do this thing really well, then I'm allowed to feel a certain kind of way. I'm allowed to feel like it's fun. I'm allowed to feel a sense of accomplishment or happiness. And the thing is, when they restrict themselves of any kind of positive feeling until they reach that goal, that is actually going to zap them of their motivation. So that is a mistake that people make. They often tell themselves, I need to be able to accomplish something first before I'm allowed to feel a certain way. The thing is, feeling is a choice. When you're able to start with that feeling, you're able to track more of what you want into your life is actually going to help you get to that goal. If you allow yourself along the process to be happy, to have fun, and also the feeling of enjoying your building of your competence along the way, you're going to do a lot better than if you just wait until you get your goal in order to have those feelings. This is not, of course, about making you feel a feeling that does not match reality. So you're not supposed to just try to make yourself feel like a Michelin chef when you're not a Michelin chef. But even though you may not be as creative as a professional chef, you could still have fun in the process of being creative. And you could have a sense of accomplishment in small ways, not when you're able to make a big accomplishment like become a professional chef. The next question I like to ask my clients is, what would be the short-term benefit of getting started with building your habit, even trying once? And the reason why I like to ask this question is that, again, people think way too far off and way too long-term about whether they'll succeed or not. And that's going to get them stuck and not even get started in the first place. But if you take small steps towards your long-term goal, you're going to find you're going to have short-term benefits along the way. So I like to ask my clients, even if you attempted and did not succeed the first time, what would be the benefit of that? So that is a more specific question. So even if you did not succeed with your first attempt, you're still going to grow from that experience. You're going to learn from failing that first time. The next benefit is that, hey, you're trying something new. You're really stepping out of your comfort zone. And that in itself should be a reward. Say you think that a dream is not worth pursuing or a goal is not worth pursuing unless you know you would succeed or not. However, if you have that kind of mindset, you'll never know. So it's good to actually get started. And when you get started and you act on that goal, you're able to assess whether that goal or dream is something that is possible. You get a sense of clarity in your life. And even if you don't have a sense of clarity, you're still going to learn something along the way by trying. And you'll also become clearer on perhaps another path that would work better for you. The next thing that is worth asking yourself is, what would you say to yourself to be encouraging? Because people often use a really self-critical voice in order to motivate themselves. So I really love this metaphor from ACT therapy. So say that I have a donkey and I want this donkey to pull a cart, and I whip this donkey in order for the donkey to pull the cart. That donkey may be motivated in the short run, but what's going to happen is that donkey is going to be wounded and sick and not able to pull the cart anymore. Contrast this to motivating a donkey to pull a cart by putting a carrot in front of the donkey. You're going to be able to get the donkey to pull the cart, but for much longer. So you don't have to do this thing where you are having this critical voice within. It takes time to be able to create a new voice, and I have videos that would show you how to be able to do so. The last point I want to make is that it's important to keep this self-inquiry brief. You don't want to spend all your time asking a bunch of questions to yourself, because that in itself is a form of procrastination. But this is a really good initial thing to do in order to help inspire you to get started. If you find it difficult to pursue something without being attached to the outcome, here is an article that I've written to address the matter. It's called How to Feel Deep Inner Contentedness That Overcomes Attachment. If you're interested in this article, I have a link to it down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching.